The Fight Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code SGPN.
We both had some hoops to jump through to get to this point. You changed my life.
The prodigal son has returned. Cody Rhodes has defeated Seth Rollins.
You changed my life.
Battered, bruised, Cody Rhodes defeats Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell.
You changed my career.
You were the shield for me. Cody Rhodes is champion.
But here we are.
Crown Jewel Championship. The undisputed WWE champion against the world heavyweight champion.
The winner of that match may decide the future of this entire industry. I have done everything right. I have taken two young men under my wing. I am the one to lead this industry into the future.
You talk of the future, but all I see is you cribbing plays from the past. Surround yourself with some muscle and act like you are better than everyone else. But if you want to live in the past, that's fine by me, because the scoreboard back there still reads 3-0.
At Crown Jewel, I'm gonna cleanse the timeline.
And you will find out what happens to those who stand between me and fulfilling my vision.
Don't do it. He's in your head. Don't do this.
What happens if I lose?
You throw away everything that we've built since WrestleMania. You lose the faith of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And you become nothing more in history than a de facto secondary champion.
I have to win.
But Crown Jewel, bring everything you have, and you'll find out it's still not enough to beat me.
Two of the best in the world in their prime.
Champion versus champion.
May the best man win.
You are listening to The Fight Show here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, covering WWE Crown Jewel from Perth, which goes down tomorrow morning for you guys and tomorrow afternoon for me. As I'm recording this show, it's only 15 hours away from starting, so I'm going to get straight into it. Not going to run through too much promo, might do some throughout the show, but I'm pretty much going to get straight on to covering this show, which happens in just a few hours. So we start with the match there, which centers around the video package that we just listened to, as Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes will face off for the Crown Jewel Championship. This started last year. Cody was the champion again. Gunther was the other champion, and they faced off against each other, and Cody Rhodes was the winner. The belief going into that match for me was that Gunther needed the win more, because he was very, very much a secondary champion, and it felt like an opportunity to elevate Gunther's belt and make them seem equal. They always tell us that they're equal, but they never actually show us that from the booking. And last year was the same. Gunther didn't win that match. Cody Rhodes got a win he didn't need to have, and it was made very, very evidently clear that Gunther's championship was not as important as Cody's, and that couldn't have been made even more clear by the time we got to WrestleMania, when Gunther was in the opening match of night one, didn't even get to main event night one, and Cody Rhodes, of course, closed out the show by losing his championship after 1 year to John Cena. So I think they are obviously going to do a better job of that this time round. The build-up to me makes it very, very clear that Seth Rollins is winning this match. I need to win. I have to win. What happens if I don't win? highlighting the fact that Seth Rollins is 0-3, or the fact that Cody Rhodes is 3-0 against Seth Rollins, makes it very clear to me that Rollins is winning this match. Otherwise, you wouldn't highlight any of those things. I think it does go on to these two being involved in separate teams at the Survivor Series for the War Games match, and having the likes of CM Punk and Roman Reigns on Cody's team, whilst Rollins, his crew, obviously recruit Brock Lesnar and potentially Drew McIntyre as well. But yeah, I think here Seth Rollins finds a way to win. Unfortunately, the bookies are wise to it, because it's not very often you would see Cody Rhodes as an underdog, and a somewhat significant underdog here. So they're wise to it. They're wise to what's going on with the storyline. This might not have been the case when WWE betting was in its infancy, but it is certainly the case here with Seth Rollins being a 1-4 favourite and Cody Rhodes being at 5-2. You always want to make a case for Cody Rhodes as an underdog, but I think it's impossible in this situation. The build-up to me is so evidently clear that Cody Rhodes is not winning this match that I can't make a case for him here, even at 5-2. Now, later on this show, there is a guy who's an underdog that I can make a case for, and I will. But in this particular situation, I'm going to go with the odds and where they sit. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins to win this match as the 1-4 -400 favourite.
Crown Jewel, Perth, Australia. Two title reigning champions will compete for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. She is the WWE Women's Champion! Tiffany Stratton may well be the best athlete in the entire women's division.
I've been underestimated. But guess who's standing here as the WWE Women's Champion? I'm at the tippy top of my game. She is the Women's World Champion!
Stephanie Vaquer has taken WWE by storm.
Here I come. 5, 4, 3, 2, seguirá arrasando con todo por siempre. La primera is ready for anyone. I will become Crown Jewel Champion. If you think that I'm going to let someone come in here who's been on top for 2 weeks and change my story, then you're wrong. Tiffy, your time will be over.
Champion versus champion. Who is the superlative master?
Tiffany made the best woman. It always will be Tiffy time.
Stephanie Vaquer, Tiffany Stratton for the Crown Jewel Championship.
So we go across to the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Last year, this was won by Liv Morgan. Tomorrow, it'll be won by Stephanie or Tiffany Stratton. Stephanie Vaquer is a 1-2 -200 favourite, with Tiffany Stratton at 6-4 +150. Now, I would immediately lean towards Tiffany here, the underdog, because Seth Rollins is winning the other match. Seth Rollins holds the Raw Championship. Stephanie Vaquer also holds the Raw Championship, and WWE like to keep the booking relatively even. So with Seth Rollins being a Raw guy and him winning, you would think they would level it out by having Tiffany win. They've also constantly alluded to the fact that Tiffany is unbeaten so far this year in 2025. And I think it would be quite a feat for her to remain unbeaten. It'd be something that she could say over and over again. The reason why I make this 50-50 is because Vaquer is in the midst of a big push, and Tiffany said to her, I'm not going to let somebody who's been a champion for just 2 weeks beat me. Well, that 2-week champion will be established as your equal by winning this match. And also, Tiffany Stratton got the pin on SmackDown when they were a tag team together. So that usually means that Stephanie Vaquer will get the pin in this match. So both girls got to win this weekend. Again, more 50-50 booking, although it wouldn't entirely be 50-50 because Stephanie would be pinning Tiffany's shoulders down to the mat. Considering everything I just outlined there, I do arrive at a 50-50. And in a 50-50 situation, go with the underdog. And that's what I'm going to do here. I like Tiffany more at the start of the week before that pinfall on SmackDown. I just felt like there was no reason to beat her here because you could give her the accolade of being undefeated for a whole calendar year. And you could talk about that even later on in her career. So once she had lost this championship, you could still say, well, she lost the championship at the 2026 Royal Rumble, but she never lost a wrestling match in 2025. And that's what I was leaning towards. But now I'm a little bit concerned by what I saw on SmackDown. I'm still going to go with Tiffany. I still think that only makes it a 50-50. Before, I think we had a 60-40 lean on an underdog, and I really loved this play on Tiffany Stratton, so much so that I was going to make it the lock on the show. But still, with it being a 50-50, I'm still going to take the underdog in this situation, and I'm going to go with Tiffany Stratton at 6-4 plus 150. Before we move on to covering the other matches on this show, let me let you guys know that the NHL is back, and so is the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Join Ryan and Joel as they break down the biggest games, storylines, awards, and the best bets throughout the season. This episode of The Fight Show is brought to you by mybookie.ag. Now, MyBookie is your place to bet on football and everything else, which includes the WWE. Everybody always asks, where do you bet on the WWE? If you're listening to this show, you obviously want to know. And the answer is mybookie.ag. Their motto is literally, bet on anything, anywhere, at any time. And that has included the WWE. So if you want to get involved, head over to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. That's mybookie.ag and the promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Novig is available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend just $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig. And we also let you guys know here about Underdog Fantasy, and they've got a brand new offer for new customers where you can play just $5 and get $100 in bonus funds when you sign up with the promo code SGPN. And finally, let me utilize this pause to tell you guys here about Rhythm. Rhythm are giving away weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Simply track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you could win $1,000. So be sure to head over to Rhythm and use our promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. That's Rhythm, RITHMM, and the promo code SGPN25.
In 2016, John Cena and AJ Styles met face-to-face for the first time. Till then, they've been on different paths. Cena, the face of WWE. Styles, the face of TNA. And for the first time ever, fans all over the world were about to find out the answer to the decades-old question. What if John Cena faced AJ Styles? Dream match! Cena Styles! The outcome? Phenomenal. Styles has beaten Cena! Career defined! That right there is a man who has just reached the summit! But the story between two legends doesn't end there. Cena came back at AJ with a new fire lit inside of him. One that propelled him to win the WWE Championship for a record-time 16th time. With animosity dissolved and respect earned, John Cena and AJ Styles went their separate ways. Until now. With both men in the deep autumn of their careers, a call from the WWE Universe renewed their rivalry. At Crown Jewel, John Cena and AJ Styles both trying to ink their name in writing the last chapter of their story. Two generational talents one final showdown.
So John Cena takes on AJ Styles. This was a match that the fans were asking for. It was actually a match that was always scheduled on John Cena's farewell tour. This is some inside information. But then once the whole Brock Lesnar situation came about and they added the WrestlePalooza pay-per-view, John Cena had to use up appearances that he had for this AJ Styles match in order to build this AJ Styles match up, which was originally supposed to be AJ Styles coming in with the Intercontinental Championship and John Cena being able to complete the Grand Slam by winning the Intercontinental Championship, but none of that happened. AJ Styles didn't beat Dominic Mysterio. This match was cancelled and then rescheduled. It's not for the Intercontinental Championship. Instead, Cena had to use up promotional appearances to promote this appearance, to promote WrestlePalooza, and then to appear at WrestlePalooza as well. So it's a bit of a mess, but we've ended up back here. It is one of Cena's greatest rivalries. It's one that AJ Styles has had the better of. He's 2-1 up on pay-per-view. Originally went 2-0 up, with John Cena then defeating AJ for his 16th championship at the 2017 Royal Rumble. And I think he'll level the score here. I think Cena wins this. I think it will be his 100th win on pay-per-view. Cena is a 1-3 favourite, and I do believe that's a decent price with Cena. It makes him a potential parlay piece because I just don't see this being any other result. AJ Styles has made it clear that he's retiring next year. John Cena is, of course, retiring at the end of this year, but I do think there are still some miles left with what you can do with Cena. Obviously, you're going to put someone new over in his final match on December the 13th. That's believed to be Gunther, which I think is a waste. I think they've already pushed Gunther pretty strongly already, so I don't think he needs this win against John Cena. I think it would be far better giving it to a Bron Breakker or a Dominic Mysterio, or even just redoing the Brock match and having John Cena go a lot closer to beating Brock, but ultimately Brock being the only person that John Cena just couldn't find a way to beat during his career. So although he has beaten Brock, Brock has been more dominant, but the story that you can tell is that Brock more or less always had Cena's number. But I don't think they're doing any of that. I think they're going with Gunther, and you want to keep Cena strong up until that point. So Cena wins this. He then goes into the Dream Team for Survivor Series, which I think will be Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and John Cena going up against Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar, and then the three members of the Vision. Now, you could replace Jey Uso with Jacob Fatu because of Jacob Fatu is involved with the feud with Drew McIntyre. That's the only change-up you could do. Or maybe John Cena's not in this match. He does something completely different. But he is tied to Brock Lesnar. But maybe they're trying to kill those ties with Brock Lesnar because they know they're not doing that match again. I'm not sure, but I do know that you do want to do big things with Cena between now and the end of the year, with him headlining Saturday night's main event, with him being on a Survivor Series poster, and with AJ Styles only really being in this match because fans voted for it. So I like Cena as a solid 1-3 minus 300 parlay piece.
Would come to this. Try me. There was a little part of me that hoped that we could settle things in the ring.
Oh, the poison mist in the eyes!
So Kabuki Warriors, come and get me.
You are right about Asuka and Kairi, but they are my family. And I still love them. Yota, it's up to you what happens next. Yosa, we can be a family again. But for Rhea, it's too late. I'm sorry, Rhea.
The Kabuki Warriors attacking Rhea Wade. And here comes Io.
Asuka, あなたのジェラシーとプレイが全てを変えた。
Poison mist in the eyes of Io Sky.
アスカ、あなたは自分だけの利益しか考えてない。 We are not family anymore。 でも誰が本当の私の家族なのか、私は見極め始めてる。
Betrayed, and now on the other side of those she considered family, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley will take on the Kabuki Warriors.
What you did to Io, that crossed the line.
At Crown Jewel, you'll find out that Asuka isn't ready for Io.
So originally, Rhea Ripley was going to be in a position where she closed out the show. She was going to win the Women's Championship from Naomi. There was then talks about doing Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley and then coming back round to this tag match after the Rhea Ripley had beaten Io Sky for the championship. But instead, we saw Stephanie Vaquer win the championship at the last PLE. And they've put the tag team match on this card. So Rhea Ripley isn't getting to win the championship. There's absolutely no way, though, that she's losing this match. Her and Io Sky are the strongest favourites on the card here at 1-6 minus 600, with the Kabuki Warriors at 4-1. And that, to me, makes perfect sense. There's no way they're losing this match. This could be an opener. This could actually open up the show, give fans a happy start. It is believed that the WWE want the fans to go home happy. And that is why the Seth Rollins Cody Rhodes match isn't going to main event, because they want the fans to go home happy, and Seth Rollins winning in the main event would not be a happy ending. And because this is one of those countries that you don't go too often, there is that house show philosophy going into it in terms of send the fans home happy. So this could be a viable contender for the main event still, but I don't think it will be. I do think it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Now, Dave Meltzer has lost a lot of credibility over the years. He's been more wrong than right. But he was someone who this week said that Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed would be the main event. Now, usually I would pour water on that, but he was also the person who the week before that said Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed would actually be a match, and also got the stipulation correct as well. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Even a clock is right twice a day. So I'm going to go with Dave here. The fact that he got the match right, I'm going to go with him and say that that's going to be the main event. But what in this match between Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed constitutes a happy ending? Is it the fact that Bronson Reed, who is from Australia, comes home and gets the biggest win of his career? Or does the tribal chief transcend a hometown hero? Is he such a big star? Are fans just so happy that Roman Reigns came to Australia that Roman Reigns winning is the happy outcome, and the fact that their countryman Bronson Reed was even in the ring with him is enough to keep them happy, but ultimately Roman winning is the ultimate happy ending.
Roman Reigns earned a great deal of respect from Bronson Reed tonight. Hands to the sky in Perth. Oh my God! Michael just speared Reigns to the announce table. Oh my God! Come on! Somebody stop these guys! He's defenseless. He can't move.
disrespect has not stopped. I'm levels above you. No matter the place, whatever fashion you want to do it in, let me know, because I'm always going to be your tribal chief. Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed, and Crown Jewel in an Australian street fight. Your tribe, how do you think that feels watching you get stretched out by my hands? I'm tired of everybody. They understand the top of the mountain. Even one man understands his altitude. I am going to force you to acknowledge your tribal thief. The OTC, the greatest to ever step foot in this ring.
So this could potentially be your main event. And this was the match I was talking about earlier on in the show, where I can make a case for an underdog, because Roman Reigns is the underdog here at 6-5 plus 120, with Bronson Reed priced up as a 4-6 minus 150 favourite. I simply do not see it. Do I see a route to victory for Bronson Reed? Yes. Could WWE see this as the happy ending that Australian fans want because their guy gets to beat the biggest guy in the company? Yes, I can see that too. The finish to me here is very clear if Bronson Reed wins. It's Jimmy and Jay getting involved. It's Jimmy making a mistake. It's Roman Reigns saying, I don't want Jimmy involved at the Survivor Series. It just has to be me and you, Jay, as part of this team. That's the only outcome that I can see. But that also seems to me like a weak finish. A Jimmy Uso miscommunication isn't worthy of the main event slot on this show. So if you're taking away Seth Rollins finally getting his win over Cody Rhodes and taking it out of the main event slot and replacing it with an Uso's miscommunication, for me, that isn't valid. And I'm not going to go with that for the finish. I think Roman Reigns wins a very good match here and gets his hand raised. They're saying it's an Australian street fight, which Bronson Reed has never lost. Has he ever even been in one? Because I know Roman Reigns has been in tribal combat. And what is the difference between no disqualification, no holds barred, tribal combat, Australian street fights, Chicago street fights? It's all the same bullshit. Barroom brawls, it's all the same bullshit. It just basically means there's no rules and you're going to do whatever you need to do to get your hand raised. And I think Roman Reigns will get his hand raised here as the 6-5 plus 120 underdog. The whole match feels like it was put on the card because they needed to sell more tickets and because they needed to generate more interest for this event. So let's just do this match again. I'm not even sure that they were planning to do this match again when they had the beatdown on Roman Reigns. What you're not going to do is have Roman Reigns beat down, taken off television so he can go off and film Street Fighter, bring him back, and then have him beaten again. I just don't think that's what you're going to do leading up to the Survivor Series. Could it happen? Yes, it could happen. And if Bronson Reed was a significant underdog here, which is what I expected Roman to be around about minus 300. And I think Bronson Reed should have come in at around about 5-2, something along those lines, 2-1, 5-2, plus 200, plus 250. I would have said, okay, let's have a sprinkle on Bronson Reed because there's no value here on Roman because I can see a path to Bronson Reed winning because you can always see a path to a heel winning if you know a feud is going to continue. And this is going to continue. It's going to continue on from Roman to Bronson to Roman to Bron Breakker and Roman to Seth Rollins. But if people are going to beat Roman Reigns, I think it's going to be Bron Breakker, who I think they're more invested in than Bronson Reed, or it's ultimately going to be Seth Rollins at the end. It's not going to come here now, I don't think. And I think there is significant value on Roman Reigns to win this match as the 6-5 plus 120 underdog. And we're going to take that as our lock here on this show. We are defending a 7-0 lock run here on the Fight Show. And we're going to use Roman Reigns as a lock to protect that run. And this is going to be a rare thing for me because it's so rare to see Roman Reigns in this situation where he's an underdog. The last time he was an underdog was against Cody Rhodes, and he did lose that match. But we've seen Roman Reigns in underdog situations during his title run, and he won all of those matches. One time made no sense at all. I remember it was SummerSlam 2023, and Roman Reigns was an underdog to lose his championship to Jey Uso, which made no sense at all. And we took Roman as an underdog in that spot. And we'll take Roman as an underdog here again. He's been profitable for us as an underdog, cashing, as we said, against Jey Uso and cashing at WrestleMania 39 against Cody Rhodes, where he was a significant underdog, where I think I was one of the only people picking him. That was aided by some inside information. In this particular situation, it isn't. This is just a blind play on Roman as an underdog. And as it is one of those rare instances, it's going to be one of those rare instances where I advocate for a 2-unit lock here. That's how good I think this opportunity is. So I'm going to say 2-unit lock, Roman Reigns, to continue our 7-0 lock run here on The Fight Show. We continued that run last week by taking Merab Dvalishvili to win a unanimous decision on a UFC 320 card where we went 7-0 over at lockbetting.com. So if you want to get all my official plays, head over to lockbetting.com. That is my service that has delivered 148 months in a row of transparent and track profit. It's transparent and track because the spreadsheets are visible publicly everywhere, including at the Instagram at lockbetting, where you can see the latest spreadsheets posted on the page with the latest 3 pinned to the top of the page. And by looking at them, you will see the type of bets we do, the sports we bet on, and most importantly, how we sensibly manage a bankroll and still have arrived at a profit every single month since the service began. That's it for me. Good luck with all of your bets as always, guys, and thanks for listening.